being at school and not being able to play sports to the best of my ability because, I can't breathe properly. It felt at that time like just an outlet. Teenage angst needs to get out into a market and bought meat. And it came with I got this sense of independence as well. At home, you're doing everything is filtered through your parents.
Right.
And in Cuba, I grew up. I would say I grew up in Cuba. I matured and realized that I can take care of myself, that I'm my own individual. And I remember, funny story, the first summer I came back home from Cuba, and my parents are telling me where I can go, what I can do, what's my curfew. And I'm like, no, we need to have a family meeting. And I said to them, I can't be living like an adult while I'm in Cuba and then come home and revert into a child. And I've always been this way with my parents, that even as a grown woman, I have my own child. I don't live with my parents anymore. But I don't have a problem letting them know where I am, what I'm doing. I don't mind sharing with them. And so I remember being 18 and I said to them, I don't mind telling you where I'm going, what I'm doing, who I'm with. I will give you the whole breakdown. But this thing about can and can't, it can't work. And even communication in Cuba wasn't as steady. Like sometimes it would take them a month to get to me. Because the dorms where we lived, there was one phone shared among, so you have people calling from Antigua, St. Lucia, Guyana, Trinidad, all over the place, and one phone. And so sometimes, and then people, they used to have a limit on the phone, and so you can only speak for 10 minutes or so. Nobody's studying that. You want to talk to your mommy, you want to talk to daddy. Some people had spouses, because it wasn't just younger folk, it was older folks as well. So you had people there who were married and had kids back home and things like that. And so that one phone. So I'm like...
So what did they do, write usually? Did they
write? Was, you had two options. Oh, there was emails. So that's three options. So we could email, but the email as well, you're sharing a lab with an entire school. So what I used to do, type my email on my laptop in my room,
so
and then
ready.
Carry it down to the lab and email it off. Because they didn't have Wi-Fi and all that stuff like what you have now. All the wonderful technological advancements that we take for granted. No, we didn't have that then. Right? Didn't have cell phones and things like that. And so you'd send an email, or you'd make a phone call from the line that was provided by the school, or you'd have to go and spend your money. And it was like $1 a minute, a US dollar a minute. So you'd buy a card, and you had payphones all over the place, so you could use the payphone. I really given my age, eh?
No.
Right now everybody has cell phones.
No, but I mean, it's Cuba, so a lot of it still remains. But
after I left, I know one of my roomies got a cell phone. So after I left, these things would have
changed a little bit.
I don't know exactly what it's like now, but So that was the only way they could communicate with me. And so I'm on my own. I'm traveling up and down Cuba provinces,
hitching on back of a truck,
hitching on the back of a camion, riding in the back of a truck with chicken and pigs on the ground, and everybody balancing on benches. The cheapest mode of transportation you could think of to get from one school to another, or to go visit your friends. I remember being on a train, and I'm not talking about them fancy subway trains. I'm talking about a rickety old style train, right? Going from Las Tunas to Matanzas, which was like 9 hours away. And this train breaks down in the middle of nowhere. I have no idea where I am. And I'm sitting on this train by myself, because traveling by myself. So it's like, it's very hard to have built up that type of independence and confidence in yourself, and then come home and then have people who love you, but still, have them telling you, charting your course every day. I'm like, I'll keep you all in the loop, but I got this.
Got you.
So that's the 18-year-old that I was.
Yeah. And so you started working with your dad in 2005. How... And we are now in 2025, with approaching 20 years, which is insane.
Can you imagine?
Crazy. How has that been for you? Like, what's it been like working with and for your dad?
Well, let's be real. Working with family is a two-sided coin. It is wonderful because you have you're working with people who care about you. You're working with people that you have a common goal. You're working with people and you're providing for yourself and your family. So that sense of community, that sense of family bonding.
Yeah. And shared goals.
And shared goals. That's great. But then you have the other side where you get on each other's nerves, right? My father would tell you, I got on his nerves. I will tell you, he got on my nerves. You know, so you have those things to work through. But it has definitely been a really great experience. I would say that this entire experience of working with my family has opened me up to so many other business opportunities. I've learned a lot. I've built my confidence. Growing up, confidence was a big thing for me. I would not have described myself as a person with low self-esteem, but looking back, I probably had some of that. That probably would have been the correct vocabulary for it. And so working with my family and, having to go out in the field and work with clients and things like that, I learned to move my head from here to here, square my shoulders and assert myself. Because I always look, and you don't find that many women. There's only a handful of women in IT in Antigua. We exist, but in comparison to the amount of men in IT, that's a larger number. And I'm only 5'3". I'm not very intimidating looking. So one of the things I had to deal with was walking into offices and having to assert myself and give clients the confidence that I knew what I was about. And so I learned to keep my head up and to be honest about what I knew and what I didn't know, and to kind of figure out what I needed to know along the way. And my father was very encouraging in that regard. Sometimes he looked too hard for me, but it worked out to my benefit in the end. And I have a very tight-knit relationship with my family. I love my family, right? I'm very close with my siblings. Siblings that go, I haven't spoken to my sister in 10 years. Not that I'm judging that, because you do have scenarios like that where you can't help it.
Right.
You understand? It's not ideal. And, people go through so many different things. And sometimes you're forced to pull yourself away from your family because maybe it's not good for your mental health. But I'm not speaking about that. I'm just speaking about my experience. I have to make that clear because I said something to somebody years ago. I was trying to express my appreciation for my mom after having my daughter. And I was like, I don't know how people go so long without speaking to their moms. I couldn't do that. And that person took offense because she didn't have a good relationship with her mom. So I feel like I need to clarify.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's different.
I do understand that my experience is not everybody's experience, and I appreciate that. But just for me, it's just, I have such a good relationship with my parents and my siblings. It's hard for me to imagine my life without them. We know death is inevitable. Not looking forward to it. But I'm very close with my brother. Very close with my two sisters. I was with my mom a couple of days ago, and we bumped up on a family friend, and the person was saying, "Oh, we want Fayola to come to something. Oh, and you can come too." And my mom said, "You don't know where the Bobsy twins?" Because me and my mom are always together. Right? I spent a lot of time with my...
Oh, I met you. When I met you, I met her.
Yes, she was with me, right? And I had my niece with me, so we very tight-knit family.
Yeah.
And I love them to pieces.
Yes.
And so, that's what I come from.
Yes.
Yeah. So family business. So my mom is in the business, my dad is in the business, my brother is in the business. My two sisters are overseas. Okay. But they give advice. Yes. And when they come home, must have family meetings. Yeah. My father loves a family meeting. And I think we have one due actually. Yes. So that's the kind of background I came from or come from. And so that's been a great experience. But it's interesting to see at the same time over the years how I've figured out that even though that's one side of me,
Mm-hmm.
I figured out that there's another side of me.
Yeah, so let's talk about it.
Oh yeah, now this is the exciting
Because
stuff.
I specifically want to know how you came to be known as kind of an erotic poet.
Oh boy.
Who is, so you're on this side quest, so you have a whole IT job in the family business.
Yes.
And then, you're a parent, and you're a friend, and you're a sister, and then you have this whole art thing going on.
This artsy thing that I'm crazy
Tell
about.
us about that.
So I write poetry, I do spoken word performances. I like to call them performance poetry, right? Because the way I present my spoken word, it's not necessarily exactly how you would see it in other mediums. Like I know American spoken word is a big thing and I love it. When I travel, I go to these open mics and it just feels so good to be in a room full of people who have those same interests. But my spoken word it's a little bit more dramatic because I'm all over the place, as you can tell, right? But so I would have started writing poetry as a young child. And I've always been a reader, love to read. I used to get in trouble for not washing the dishes because I'm in a corner of the house reading, And then, of course, I would have had that experience in State College. And then I came back from Cuba, and I have some friends who had they were part of August Rush Productions, so that's Lenisa George and Zara Errol. And Lenisa called me one day and she was like, oh, we're putting together a production of Eve Ensler's Vagina Monologues. And we would like you to be a part of it. Now, let's rewind to 8-year-old Fayola, when they used to have Cultural Village. So it's basically like a 2-week camp. And you had different programs in the camp. So you had dance, you had music, you could do the guitar, you could do steel pan, you could do African drums, you had creative writing, arts and craft. So it was like a big camp of kids, and basically your parents would select your interests, and that's what you would do for 2 to 3 weeks. And one year I ended up in theater. And I got cast as a little boy. Now 8-year-old Fayola doesn't realize I'm just acting. So I could not wrap my little mind around pretending to be a boy. And on the day of the show, so what happened at the end of the camp, each group would present something to the parents. And so we were doing a play, and I was a little boy in the play. And they put me on the stage, and I had on a baggy shirt and a baggy pants and looking boyish. And I stood there and I said absolutely nothing.
Oh no.
I stood there and they were like, Fayola, you forget the lines, and they're whispering from backstage. And I knew the line, but I just could not.
You couldn't relate, you couldn't identify.
I couldn't get my mind. I just kept thinking to myself, I'm not a boy, I'm not a boy. 8 years old. So to go from that to now saying yes to this vagina monologue, So Eve Ensler, I think, I stand corrected if not, but I think she's Canadian. But she interviewed like 100 women and took their stories and created the vagina monologues. And so August Rush Productions got the script. They got permission, because you have to get permission to put on the play. And they put it on. And they just got a bunch of us ladies in the local community to come, memorize these scripts, rehearse, go on stage. It wasn't even a paying gig. It was for the passion and for, the love of the stories and wanted to share this experience with other people.
So it was like community theatre like?
Yes. And a ton of people came out. It was the exact opposite of what I, was into. And I chose the smallest part possible, with the least amount of lines. And I didn't even have to be expressive. I just had to go behind of a kind of, what you call it, like a pulpit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just say these lines. I'm expressing the story from this woman. I'm sure it wasn't more than 4 or 5 lines. And I came off the stage. And I was so nervous going to do that. And how I got myself on the stage was, I said, Fayola, you have 2 choices. You either do your very best and most likely do a good job, or you go out there and you second guess yourself and you're definitely not going to do a good job. And so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go. And something happened to me after I came off that stage. And so we would have done the vagina monologues maybe maybe one or two more times, I don't remember. And then Women of Antigua, which also included the ladies from August Rush Productions, decided to put on something that was local centric. So stories from Antiguan women, and they called it When a Woman Moans. And Lanisa George, she wrote a piece called Black Girl in the Ring. And it was a long piece. And I took it.
And you said, yes, please.
I said, I'm going to do it. And, you know, I memorized it, went through the rehearsals, you know, and it was well received. I think I can say that I did a really good job.
Yeah.
You know? High five, right? And yes, and after that I was like, okay. And then you know, so we did, and we would have done these plays more than once.
Yeah.
Right? So I think over a 5-year period. And then Zara founded Sugar Apple Theatre. And so I was doing acting with them, right? And Zara is theatre trained, and there were other people like Abby McCoy, theatre trained, and Nadine as well, trained in Jamaica, Norman Manley, right? So you know, you had these
Edna
people.
Manley.
Edna, my apologies.
Norman
I tell
Manley's
you,
to law school, no problem.
Edna Manley, and so we would have had them, you know, coaching us and imparting their knowledge onto us. And we did another iteration of Vagina Monologues. And then we were supposed to do another play. And it was supposed to be April of 2020, if I remember correctly. In March of 2020, COVID hit. And we didn't get to do it. They've only recently started back. They did a play recently as well, a couple of weeks ago. And I wasn't a part of it, but I went to support. A local story, an adaptation of a book written by, if I look in my phone, I can find everybody's name.
That's fine.
But I have mommy brain.
Yes.
Right? It's a real
Absolutely
thing.
Fine. Yep.
So cannot remember everybody's names.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Sugar Apple Theatre.
Yeah.
And so they've now, and I want to go back, but there's so much has changed.
Yeah.
And I still consider myself as part of that family, because they are family.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get back
find
there.
your way back.
I'll find my way back,
Yeah.
but it's just not right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then somewhere between all of that, so there's Soothe, which was what I'm most known for on the island. So Soothe is a local spoken word, neo soul, jazz event, you know, for the grown folks.
Yeah.
Right? And Gemma Hazelwood, who's one of the founders, would have known me from, oh gosh, memories, boy. Expressions Poetry in the Pub. So I did Expressions Poetry in the Pub, it was just an open mic. Again, hosted by Lanisa and Zara. And people used to just come, go up to the mic. There was a band. Like, it wasn't like a gig. It wasn't anybody getting paid. It was just all of us coming together, needing a creative family, needing that creative space. And there was a coffee shop, Java to go. So we'd have to pay for our coffee, right? And our treats. But it was right outside Java to go. And I think we had it, was it every other Tuesday? I'm not quite sure, but we used to come together. I know it was a Tuesday night. And people would play guitar, sing, or come and do spoken word. And we became friends because of that, you know? And everybody would come around, and you know, sometimes people would cry. You wrote this poem, and it's personal. It's not just a story. It's personal, and so people go up to me and you would offer support, you know. And so Gemma would have known me as well from that environment, because he's a photographer, and so he would have, and he plays guitar as well, although that's more recent anyway. But so he would have known a bunch of us from that environment, and would have handpicked some of us to perform in this new venture, Soothe, which turned into a big deal. So it's annual now, and it's
So what I'm hearing, that's amazing. So what I'm hearing from you is that Antigua was key to you finding and developing as an artist.
Yes, definitely.
And do you feel like it sounds like that community is here for you.
Yes.
It sounds like, and you've told me that you want to write more things about Antigua, like life specifically.
Yeah. I want to do so much more writing. My laptop is full of so much stuff that I would love to develop more.
Send it. Send it to somebody who you trust.
Oh God.
Send the draft.
Oh boy.
Hold on. You hear that, writer? Send the draft.
Send the draft.
Send the draft.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I've been performing at Soothe. I think I skipped. Well, I got pregnant in 2017, so I think I skipped 2017, 2018.
Make up the baby.
My baby girl Zuri, I love you. Mommy loves you. And so I would have done Soothe. I can't remember the first year I did Soothe, but the first year I did Soothe.
It's fine. We know you were there. If we look it up, we know you were there.
And it might have been somewhere between 20. Maybe it's 2014, 2015, somewhere there. But yeah, so I would have been my first Soothe. And prior to that Soothe, for some strange, unknown reason, I started writing erotic poetry. Now, had I written erotic poetry before that? No. Romantic poetry maybe, but not erotic poetry. You know, and I was the poet that would write. Like, I remember a friend in A-levels dared me. He said to me, you can write a poem about anything. I said, yeah, anything. I said, I just need a theme. And he's like, okay, I dare you to write a poem about breadsticks, about bread plat. So, you know, when you go and you get the baker's bread and they have the plat on top, he used to love bread plat. So he's like, write a poem about bread plat. I was like, okay. And I did it. And he was very surprised.
Yeah.
You know, and so... I would have said my poetry at that point was maybe very PG, but something happened. I don't know where the inspiration came from, and it started at Expressions Poetry in the Pub. One night I went and I just tried out this thing. I wrote this thing and I just performed it on the open mic. Yeah. And everybody was like,
oh, excuse me. We didn't know that was in you.
Little nice girl, Fayola.
It's a 5'3".
What's going on here?
Teeny tiny.
You know, and so when they had Soothe, I wasn't able to perform for the first year of Soothe, but the second year I went and I did this erotic poem. And I saw the video of it afterwards and I was like, who is she? In this red dress. I'm only now growing back my hair. I always cut my hair. So I had my hair really, really low. You know, face made. So I looked grown. You know, and I'm my red dress and my high heels and I'm belting out this poem. And I'm like, wow. Yeah. You know, and so I've been performing for Soothe for quite a few years. I performed last year, 2024. 2023, I did Sessions by Soothe, which is on YouTube, which would have been the first thing that the Soothe team did post-COVID. And this year, I am set to be the featured artist for Soothe. Ooh. So usually, I would do like maybe one piece for Soothe. This year I'm supposed to do like 3 or 4. So it's a big deal. Yeah. And I need to hurry up and start getting to work. I need to, because all my stuff is original. I maybe have 1 or 2 poems that are favorites and I would do over and over. Yeah. But I love to just write something new because I'm one of those artists that I'm like, I'm tired of that.
So let me ask you this. Give me your Antiguan writing process. If somebody said, I am a writer and I want to do it the Antiguan way, it's also your way, but tell me what that looks like.
I think it's different for everybody. It's different for everybody.
But if you had to make it an experience for someone and it was a little Antigua themed, what would you tell them? Is there a specific drink you need to get? You need to eat this at lunchtime. What would it be?
Well, if we're going to talk food, well, we love our dukkana and saltfish. Okay. We love our fungi and saltfish. Okay. We love our fried plantain.
What's fungi? Like fungi?
No.
Like mushroom?
So I think maybe you guys call it callaloo. It's
green?
I think they call it turned cornmeal.
Oh, okay.
So
callaloo is green though.
Oh, okay. So no, it's not that.
Oh, so it's turned cornmeal.
So here's an experience. It's turned cornmeal. Here's an experience. When I was studying in Cuba, I had a Jamaican dorm mate.
Yeah.
And my bestie, she made fungi and saltfish. And, that's our national dish here in Antigua.
Okay.
But the Jamaican Ella, her name was, I remember Ella. And she said, me to eat ton corn meal. I think we offered it to her. She's like, she took it as an offense that we were offering it to her. And we were, look, that was a cultural eye-opener.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you spoke, and I spoke to some other Jamaicans, and they were like, no, in Jamaica it's different.
Yeah.
Ton corn meal is not.
And some people wouldn't take it that way, but it's like when you offer, I don't know, because we eat it, but it's like you don't offer, you give it to dogs.
Yes, that's
but
what she said.
You give it to dogs. So I don't know, but it's weird she wouldn't realize that you're all partaking of it.
But here it's our national dish.
Culture.
Culture. Every independence.
Yeah.
We have food fair.
Yeah.
And what do you want? You want dukkha and saltfish. You want fungi and saltfish. You want what is bakes or where you can do like the boiled dumpling.
Yeah.
Saltfish, chop up, plantain. Like that's our thing.
Yeah.
And I find when a lot of tourists come to Antigua, I remember hearing a story about a tourist who came to Antigua. And they took her to a burger place. And she's like, no, I didn't come here for a burger.
I don't want that.
She's like, I want fungi and saltfish. That my friend came here and had it, and that's what I want, So that's our thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And yes, I would say. So I probably have a poem.
Yeah.
About
fungi and
saltfish, or at least some kind of food-based poem.
I love it. Looking for the book of poems. Looking for the collected works.
Look, let me tell you, I would never have imagined in a million years that I would be doing poetry gigs.
Yeah.
Like I get hired. Like I just did a private reading. And when I get hired, I very likely write specifically for that. So I'm not going to get something I had before because it's just not my style.
That's how flex your creativity so overflowing. You don't have to recycle.
I just need to get a little bit of a theme, something that I know will connect with this particular group.
Yeah.
And and that particular family, I wrote the poem just for them and performed it just for them. And that was over Jubilee, my first ever time going over there. A family that has a private property over there. I never would have imagined that I would be writing poetry, performing it, and having people hire me. I performed for Since 4 this year. That was an amazing opportunity. I do Soothe every year, and the Fro Fest. There are a bunch of little things where people call me, and I'm like, is this my life?
It is, apparently.
And it's something that I'm good at, and it's something that I love to do. I have a passion for storytelling, and I think more than anything else, my poetry is storytelling, and I have all the content to publish something, but it's just sitting down there on my hard drive and on my laptop.
All right. Well, that's not going to help anybody. So I am just encouraging you.
Thank you.
To get it out there. But we're coming to the end of our talk today. You've shared a lot, but I think I want to help people. Yeah. Right? I want you to help people. So I'm going to ask you about your personal strength and giving tips to people. Okay, so the first thing, I want you to give 1 or 2 tips for someone who realizes that something isn't working. What would you tell them?
I would say don't be afraid to accept that something is not working and pick another route. The destination might be the same, but you might be on a different route. And I feel like it's in my life, there were times when I was just stuck on this route, right? And so it's kind of difficult, especially when you've had these high expectations of things happening a certain way, even in my writing. Because I'm working on a novel, been working on a novel for the past 7 years. And sometimes you want to say it this way, but that way doesn't work. And you can express yourself more fully in another way. But you're holding on to this. It's very beneficial to take a deep breath and just let go.
Let it go.
Just let it go. And don't force the process in that way. A lot of times you do more harm than good when you try to force it. And I feel like I wrote a poem about I want to flow like water. And if you think about water, it fills whatever vessel you put it into. So if you put it into a cup, if you put it into a vase, the shape of a heart, it fills that space. It takes the form of whatever it's in, and it flows, and it makes the vase come alive with that type of beauty. And so I feel like it's beneficial to just flow like water, right? To go to the spaces that are natural. You know, it's not easy because your biggest battle is in your brain. You're your biggest enemy a lot of times. And so if you can just take a deep breath and let go and say, okay, sorry, I can't control this. This avenue is not working. What can I control? What can I do to take one step forward? And that's something that I'm still working on within myself.
Yeah.
But I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better. And that's some advice I would give. And to stop being so hard on yourself. Growing up, I've been very, very hard on myself. And I think that kind of perfectionist mentality, that things have to look a certain way, it pulls you down, it stops you, it holds you back. So just, be cool. Go with the tides. Just.
All right. That was very good. All right. So one more. So you are a technical person, and you found a creative spark when you were younger, and you picked it back up. Tips for someone who wants to pick up in their creativity.
The best thing to do is to just do it. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody else has to like it. Just do it. Just start. You hear that a lot nowadays. And I feel like when you start to hear the same advice over and over again, you become flippant about it, and it becomes background noise. But there's a lot of truth in it. Just start. Write the first word. Your first poem doesn't have to be a page long. Your first story doesn't have to be a whole chapter. Just start. And the more you start, I feel like starting awakens the creativity. If you're not doing anything, then you're not doing anything. Nothing is happening. But once you start it, the first couple of sentences might sound like trash. But you've started, and so you get better, and you just keep going. And little by little, you get a sentence, and then a paragraph, and then a page, and then a chapter, and then a book. And so just start. If you want to do it, you've made up your mind, whatever field it is, whatever creative outlet it is. You don't have to start off by wanting to make money. I certainly didn't do that. And I'm not saying that you're not going to become a millionaire off of it. At least, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's just a matter of time.
But just start.
Yeah.
Just start and see what happens.
All right. Yeah. One more. How do you want to do work? You want to publish work? You want to write? You want to make a film that's a little bit, it's not PG.
I want to do everything.
Hold on. We know, but I'm saying this is the question, right? You find that you want to write a piece that's a little risky, right? And you're wondering about, what my mother going to think about it, so my granny going to think about it. What advice do you have for someone who knows it's an amazing piece of art, but it's a little less? Do it anyway.
I mean, I can say for myself, my parents have learned to be liberal over time. Because with the kids that they have, it's like, and I find that sometimes people don't see the vision, right? They don't see it the way you see it. They don't feel it the way you feel it. It's not coming out of them, it's coming out of you, right? And just do it. Just do it. Be respectful as you're doing it. You can just say, Mommy, Daddy, I'm sorry, but this is the direction I'm being pulled into, and just do it. I mean, it's very difficult. I can imagine it would be very difficult to be 90 years old and looking back at your life and saying, man, I should have done that. And you didn't do it because you listened to outside voices. Just do it. Just do it.
All right. And then the very last question we have that we ask everybody who comes on our series is 3 tips for anybody who's repatriating. So you were away for a little while and you're coming back. What are 3 things you need to think about?
Okay, 3 things. 1, drink plenty water. Drink a lot of water. You're coming back and you're looking for, how am I going to integrate myself now back into society? What am I going to do for work? You want to build yourself. You're willing to do all types of jobs that take so many hours out of your life because you have this goal. And then while you're all caught up in that, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not drinking your water. You're not eating your fruits and your vegetables. You're not taking a walk. You're not clocking in with the people that you love. And self gets lost. And I feel like we come from a society that often teaches you, it programs you to deny yourself, that everything outside is more important. And one of the lessons that I've learned is that that's not true. Everything outside is important, but you inside, you're important too. So drink your water. If you need to go to therapy, go to therapy, right? If you need to go to the beach, whatever form your therapy takes, you need to go and get a swim. You need to go and have a nice meal. You need to go for a walk. You need to lay down and listen to some music for an hour before you get into whatever you're getting into. You need to write a poem to calm your mind. You're upset with your boss and nobody's listening. You want to write a poem about whatever it is. And drink your water. We have to drink water. How many people don't drink water?
Yeah.
We don't drink enough water. And that's just my experience. I've always externalized everything. And so over time, I've been learning I need to internalize. Right? And so take care of yourself. So that's one. So in all the hustle and bustle of trying to figure out your life, take care of yourself. That's one. Two, I would say be kind to yourself. Because, I know I can be very sensitive at times. And when I make mistakes, I come down on myself. And so what I've been trying to teach myself is mistakes are an opportunity to learn something. Learn something new about yourself. Learn about maybe a flaw you have that you can fix. And if you can fix it, fix it. I've had, for example, even I had a recent performance. Oh, I was so embarrassed. Because I did not give 100%. And I felt like I had a bunch of legitimate excuses as to why I wasn't in that proper state of mind. But nevertheless, it made me feel really bad afterwards. I felt like I could have put more of myself into that performance. And for weeks, that bothered me. And I just kept having to say to myself, you learn from it. You know what you did wrong. You fix what you can fix. And I even apologized to the promoter. I was like, I know, because the thing is, if you hadn't seen me perform before, you would have thought it was wonderful. If you had seen me perform before, you're like, oh, she's a little bit off today. And I really, was hard on myself with that. And so I apologized. I said, I know y'all know this is not 100% me. But, these things happen. And I've learned from it, and I've learned what I need to do to kind of avoid that. Because it was the first time it ever happened. And so now I know, okay. And I felt like if months in advance, I was waiting for the shoe to fall off the other foot. I just waiting for, I felt like something was coming. And that was the thing that came, that kind of shook me a little bit. And so, so be kind to yourself, learn the lesson and move on. I've been very guilty of just sticking in that rut instead of just learning the lesson. And so I've been trying my very best to train my mind to just learn the lesson and move on. Number 3, think big. Think big. So, we come out of a culture, and it's been a defense mechanism from our ancestors. Hope for too much. Ask for too much. You don't set yourself up for disappointment. You don't put all your eggs in one basket. So we've been trained to think like that. Leave room for disappointment. Don't do too much. And I feel like, especially in this day and age that we're living in, that advice may not be as relevant as it was back then, right? I feel like now that, we have technology and COVID, if it's one thing COVID taught us, is that the world is a lot smaller than we think it is. And we're a lot more connected. And so we have a lot more resources. We have social media, we have email, we have different ways of communicating outside of our little borders. And what does it harm you? It doesn't harm you to dream big. It doesn't harm you to say, oh, I would love to do this and I would love to do that. And to think about, expanding your world. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to take any skin off of your back. So why not think big? And I know that that's another lesson that I've learned because, it's a shell that I've had to break out of, this idea of thinking small, and because I have big dreams. I don't know if they will ever come true. I trust and believe that they will in some shape or form. But I'm a big dreamer. I want to write for Beyonce. I want to write lyrics for different musical artists, and I want to, publish novels, and I want to act. Like I told you the other day, if Bridgerton calls me and says, we need you to audition for this part, yes, please. I'm there, and so other people might hear me say these things and like, your head is in the clouds. Why not? Life already so hard as it is. You already have so many things that you don't have control over. And the one thing you can have control over is your thoughts. So make it positive and just think big and just flow into, the opportunities that present themselves. Those are my 3 tips.
This is amazing. All right. So with that, I want to thank you again for your time. Thank you for sharing so much of your experiences and being very vulnerable about your disappointments and even about your hopes and dreams and goals. And I want to thank you all for watching. And I hope that you took something from one of Fayola's many tips, or more than one. And we'll see you next time on Repat Stories. Okay.